Hey guys, Trevor from Emerald City Guitars. Today I've got a 1961 Fender Super Amp in the brown face configuration, which just references the color of this panel. As you know, they brown, black, silver, they have a couple different options. This is that early 60s brown face era for Fender. They manufactured this amp from 1960 to 63, so this is a 61, so a nice early one with the oxblood grill, which is nice and rare. This was purchased as a one-owner amp, and the only modification is a repro dog bone handle. The original is in the back of the amp. These are 40 watts, 210s, has the original Jensen Alnicos in it, which are incredible sounding speakers. This amp also includes the original foot switch, which is a really nice kind of cherry on top of these packages. I love that it comes with the foot switch. This era you never see with the foot switch. It's rare to see them. It's a small component that after so many years is the first thing to get lost. So that's kind of a cool complete package if you're looking for a brown face Super Amp. If you're familiar with the vintage Fender lineup and you're obsessed like I am, your eyes kind of perk up when you see one of these come through the door, just because they have that cool 210 configuration, which I'm a massive fan of. I love the Vibroluxes and just the ease of picking something up with one hand and having the two speakers. And 10-inch speakers might be my favorite speaker size for amps, just because their sensitivity, but still their ability to project and growl and get the cleans. It's the best of both worlds in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, I love 112s, 212s, but there's something just really sweet about that 210 configuration. So just a quick refresh on kind of different eras and what we're looking at here as far as the Fender legacy. Prior to this, you have the tweed amps. We all love those. They fly out the door. They're like bars of gold. Everyone's holding on to them these days. Right after that, you get into the brown face stuff, which is where they really start developing the vibrato, almost three-dimensional, a little bit more effects for the guitar player rather than just like a reference amp, which the tweeds are. Kind of plug in, turn it up, there you go. When you get into this era, they developed that, gave you a little bit more onboard option and some musical EQ and vibrato, like I said, to mess with. After that is when you start seeing the blackface deluxe reverbs, all that, you know, Princeton's, Vibroluxes that we talk about all the time, and that's a little cleaner. Totally dive into the reverb world. But backing it up, this brown face just is that cool transition period where you still get that nice darkness and I don't want to say softness, but they have a certain quality to them that reminds me a little bit of those sweet spots in a tweed amp. But like I said, you start seeing vibrato and you get a little bit more cut that you start hearing a little bit of the blackface amp. So it's a really cool right in the middle. I can't explain it better than that. It sounds like those two amps smashed together. So I don't see a lot of Super Amps, and when they do come in, they fly out the door. This came in last night. It's not even on our website, maybe by the time this video goes out, but it is, it's here, it's amazing. And like I said, if you're a Fender amp collector or a studio guy, you probably already know about the Super Amps. I think they're the most usable of the brown face amps. They're my favorite of the brown face amps. And again, that comes down to the awesome vibrato, the 210 Jensen speakers, and just the overall aesthetic and ease of carrying one around. I gotta honor that because it's nice to have one, you know, guitar in hand, amp in the other, and you get the whole brown face Fender package and something that's easy to move from room to room. I've said this before, but I really gravitate towards 10-inch speakers. I use Tellies mainly, a lot of Fender guitars, and although I play with a pick, I'll throw it off sometimes, do a lot of finger picking, and something about the 210 is just so responsive. The sensitivity in that is, I just think it's where it's at. I always feel like these are just one of the most intuitive amps. When I am at the shop and one comes in, grab your guitar, cable to amp, just nothing in between. There's something really cool about the brown face amps. They just feel like that era. You know, this is before people were rocking out, surf music was just kind of emerging. So it's just this, it's a tie between an incredible tube reference amp, but like I said, they're developing a little bit more like what guitar players want. Vibrato, really nice EQ, maybe a little bit more cut and brightness for, you know, a lot of these hollow bodies that were available at the time. Being a one-owner Super Amp, that is massive to me. Again, like they're so collectible, and when you start changing little things in these old brown face amps, all of a sudden they don't sound like that perfect in between. They start tilting one side or tilting the other, or, you know, turn into something that you don't even recognize. So when one comes in fully functioning, ready to go, original, it brings you back. It's a time machine. It's just super cool experience. Again, Only thing switched on this, it's stock inside and out, except for this little dog bone handle here. That's what we refer to this as. And these just separate, they crack down here. And you know, I see a lot of these come in where we put signs, do not lift, because that's, you know, a little touchy. So we end up picking it up, which I kind of suggest to any vintage amp. So it was busted. We took it off, we threw it in the back, and we put a really nice appropriate repro, and it looks exactly how it should. So these are the fixed bias, non-adjustable 6L6 power tubes, GZ34 in these, and it's a magic creation, and they really push and sparkle that vibrato out. Again, Fender had it right back in the day. I don't know how they did it, but still to this day, it's one of the best amps I've ever heard. You know, PA systems are so great now, you don't need this gigantic stack. You want something mean, just, you know, mobile, and that does it. So today I'm gonna switch it up. The last couple days we've done some, you know, Fender amps or Dr. Z's with Fender guitars. I brought a Gretsch down here today, which will be kind of cool. Try to get a little bit, you know, fake it till I make it on some rockabilly stuff to just show you, because I love that combination of Gretsch or the hollow bodies through these. They just really start pushing these amps. So let's plug it in, see how it sounds. All right, thank you guys so much. That was a Gretsch White Falcon through this 1961 original Super Amp. See you next time.